Energy efficiency has historically been seen as an overhead cost, and the smart organizations, the leading organizations in this space, have realized that it's really a profit center for their organizations. On average, 20 to 30% energy in those buildings is wasted, and so there's a tremendous opportunity to focus on the existing building stock and to make sure that we're driving greater investment in energy efficiency in those buildings.
So the real question is, how can we raise awareness of the potential that energy efficiency savings can provide? And one of the main things that we have to do to bring this to scale is to really begin thinking on a portfolio-wide basis, to look at an entire population of buildings as opposed to just individual buildings one by one.
Inevitably, when you look at the portfolio level, there are some buildings that will have better performance than others. And those lessons can be identified, they can be quantified, and then really pushed through the entire organization.
What we're beginning to see in the marketplace is that public perceptions of the role of energy efficiency are beginning to change. Decision makers now are beginning to realize the impact that it can have on the valuations of their assets, that energy efficiency goes far beyond just thinking about the dollars saved from reduced energy use.
With energy efficiency, you have to think about the value proposition going beyond just the cost. How does that affect the asset of the building? How does that affect the way people interact with the building, how tenants are going to perceive the building?
What you see in many organizations is that the energy spend and the O&M spend are bifurcated. So one person is responsible and focused on energy. Somebody else in a different part of the budget is focused on O&M, even though much of that O&M might be directly related to activities that are consuming the energy. And when you put them together, you've got more dollars and a bigger economic impact that can be used to drive return on your investment and payback.
As the market begins to mature, and I'd say we're in a process of maturing, that may switch more from market leader differentiation almost to like a risk. Well, I might not do it because I want to be among the leaders, but I better make sure that I'm not in the laggards. There might be risk now, liability. We've seen some institutional investors like TIAA-CREF, for instance, who own a portfolio of buildings, and they require certain actions from their property managers as part of their contracts in order to increase the value of that investment, because if it uses less energy, you're increasing the value of the investment that they're holding.
With smart metering and other technologies we have now, people have access to very large amounts of data, but data is not necessarily the same as actionable information. We have to take that data and distill it down to something that people can make intelligent decisions upon.
And so it's using data and information to inform that movement and that progress, which is really going to drive change and the change we need in this country to achieve what we think is possible cost-effectively $80 billion worth of annual savings on commercial industrial buildings in this country.
One of the goals of the EIU paper was to help us understand what types of public policies can really help encourage the types of investments that we're talking about here today. We believe that rating disclosure programs are a key foundational element of an effective policy to encourage energy efficiency investments, but they're only the starting point.
If nobody's paying attention to their energy use, there's no way that it's going to start to reverse that trend. So energy benchmarking and disclosure is really the starting point. Once you have building owners' attention on that issue, you can direct them to all the incentives and tools that are available to them and start to push them beyond just getting to small reductions to some of those really innovative large-scale energy efficiency programs and products.
The work we're doing through the Better Buildings Challenge of the Department of Energy is trying to answer just that question. What are these persistent barriers that exist in the commercial industrial real estate to greater energy efficiency? But really looking at energy efficiency in two very important ways. One is across an organization's portfolio, but also doing deep energy upgrades, not just focusing on lighting or different single measures.
It shouldn't be about new buildings versus existing buildings, but the whole portfolio and the whole life cycle and how the performance goes from setting aggressive energy targets to begin with and making sure you get them when they are built and being operated. And I think you can accomplish that both addressing new and existing buildings as you focus on a portfolio-wide approach.
GBPN has shown that we can reduce the energy use of the U.S. buildings to 60% below 2005 levels by the year 2050, simply by taking advantage of the best available technologies that are out there today. This doesn't require any new magical solutions or silver bullet. But the question is, how do we get there? How do we get beyond the way that we're doing things now, which is what we ultimately have to accomplish if we're going to achieve the sorts of potential savings that we could get to within the building stock in the United States.